is it's not actually the tightness that you think it is, or it might not be that ankle restriction the way you think it is. It might actually be that you're teaching your body how to increase tone over and over again. What happens at the bottom of a squat is that if we're picking something up, we have taught our body kind of how to go onto our toes. And so naturally, your foot automatically goes into plantar flexion, meaning it's going to rise the moment that I come down. I can easily hang out here. I don't have to do as much work. And so we kind of taught our body how to go into plantar flexion at the bottom of a squat. Now, say I'm loading and I feel like, oh, I don't have that ankle mobility, so I'm just going to put my heels up on a plate or get lifting shoes every single time I lift. Not that this is bad, okay? If I only teach my body how to squat low, only when my heels are lifted, I teach my body and my brain that my heels have to be in a little bit of plantar flexion in order for me to go all the way down. So it almost becomes a reactive nature rather than what actually might be restricting. So a way that you can start to mix it up, start to play with different ranges and change it up so that you can actually not build and rely on that tone in the body, but you can actually get that mobility through the calf and the ankle that you might not even know is missing. So one of the things that I like to do, you don't have to use a towel, you can use plates, you can use 2 towels, but it's just changing up the surface. So rather than having my ankle in more plantar flexion, I'm actually going to put it in more dorsiflexion and then make myself squat. So putting your toes up on a higher surface, kind of grooving into a squat, you might feel like, whoa, I have way limited range, but try to keep relaxing the feet. So try to think, relaxing the feet. I'm just going to go into squat, not really thinking about it, just trying to get as low as I can and going down into that squat. Because then when we remove the surface and now we're on a flatter surface, you might notice like, oh, actually I do have more range and my foot doesn't feel like it has to fight against me every single time that I go down. The other way that you can do it, another trick for the brain, is to actually do staggered stance squats. So I'm going to take my heel in line with my foot and I'm going to go into a squat here. What that's going to do, it's going to want to lift my back leg because I'm going to put this back one on stretch. Try to keep that heel down the entire time. So go as low as you can, keeping that heel down, and then try just like 10 of those. So again, we're just switching up the way that we're transferring that information into our body so that it doesn't get used to one way of doing anything. And now here, not only am I getting a stretch, not only am I loading the tissue in a stretched position, but I'm telling the body that it is okay and it is safe. So you don't have to rely on a higher surface every single time you go down, and you can decrease that tone within the calf rather than having to do it with a foam roller, rather than having to smash it out. You might actually